Probably that. All right, welcome back to The Hill. If it can happen in Israel, it can happen anywhere. Those were the comments from the Republican presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy earlier this week. And today, he tried to drive home his point by traveling to Eagle Pass, Texas. You can see him there. And that is where our Ali Bradley caught up with Ramaswamy.
The concern I have in this country is, look, there was just 2 Lebanese people here yesterday. The number of people that have come in as special interest aliens to the tune of 70,000 over the last year from Middle Eastern countries. So I think there are real dangers here in the homeland. We're not securing the homeland. We're looking abroad without failing, without actually doing the job of protecting Americans on American soil.
Joining us now, Ali Bradley, live in Eagle Pass. Ali, so you spoke, as we saw there, to Vivek earlier today. What else did he tell you?
Yeah, he really drove home that point about what could happen there, could happen here. He was talking about what is going on in Israel should be a wake-up call for Americans. You heard him there mention those individuals from Lebanon. We had 2 that were apprehended by Border Patrol agents here in Eagle Pass yesterday. There were more than 14 people from Syria that are currently in Border Patrol custody in the Rio Grande Valley. So those are some of the points that he was really focusing on. And he was saying that the thousands of individuals who have come over from special interest countries are concerning. We know that over 76,000 individuals from those countries entered into the United States in fiscal year 23, according to our Customs and Border Protection sources now. And while he was here, he also talked heavily on the border barriers. He talked about needing the wall, but he also talked about Governor Abbott's buoy barrier system. And he was saying that we need more of that after he saw it, because he was saying that it was acting as a deterrent, because he actually talked with a little 12-year-old girl who entered into the U.S. by way of the Rio Grande, actually was picked up by Border Patrol in an airboat. And Vivek says that that individual and her father would have been deterred by those buoys, and so would thousands of others. So while he is advocating for that wall, that barrier system as well, he is also advocating for shutting down the criminal organizations who are actually moving these individuals into our country. Take a listen to that part of the conversation. When it comes to the cartels, what would you do to stop them? You're talking about the foreign policy. What would you do to stop the cartels? Would you consider them terrorists?
Well, first thing is, I do consider them terrorists. Freeze their assets, seal this southern border. Everything else has to come from sealing the border that we're standing on right now. This is not a technical challenge.
Okay, so he's hopeful that with the new Mexican president in 2024, they'll be able to work on those partnerships and be able to get Mexico to do their part. Now, Blake, they also, Vivek also said that he wants to work on strengthening relationships with countries like Venezuela so that we can actually repatriate people who don't qualify for asylum. Blake.
Ali Bradley, great work as always on the border. Ali, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.